And now a word from our cafe kangaroo.
Welcome to Blind Cafe's Naked DJs podcast, where every day we expose ourselves to the very best music. Some days we like to shake it up, some days we let it all hang out, and others we just like to stick it out there for you to listen to.
Do you love collecting comic books? How about action figures? Are you looking for that perfect gift for someone? Then the Comic Collection is the place for you. They have Pokemon, vinyls from days gone by, collectible CDs, and so much more. If you have a question about the Comic Collection, call Dave at 215-375-3332. That's 215-375-3332. Then visit the webpage at thecomiccollection.net. That's thecomiccollection.net. Enjoy prices lower than you'll find at the mall.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Naked DJs podcast by Blind Cafe Radio. And we have a couple of interesting topics for you tonight. We're going to be talking about Bob Dylan as well as John Lennon. So, Johnny, you want to kick it off and talk about the article that you found out about Bob Dylan selling his catalog?
Well, yes, I do. Thank you, Curtis. Good evening, everybody. That's right. Basically, I think it was either news from last week that Bob Dylan sold his whole songwriting catalog for $300 million, 9 figures. I think earlier, I think maybe Stevie Nicks had done that too, but I think she had sold hers for like $100 million. But it's like amazing because normally Bob Dylan was the kind of guy who didn't do anything with the established, go with the, he was anti-establishment. And it was kind of funny because Tuesday I was in the donut shop in the Blind Cafe, and one of our members asked me, we're talking about it, he says, well, why do you think he sold it? Do you think he needed the money or, and I didn't think he would sell it because he was so anti-establishment. I'm going like, that's a good question. I don't think we'll ever know why he sold it, but, it just kind of boggled the mind that he got $300 million for. And he sold it to Universal. He sold it to a recording studio, not just some dealer or something like that. So he kind of kept it in the music business. I thought it was pretty cool because I'm not a big Dylan fan. He does have some good music. Some people do say that, was it Lay Lady Lay and I think Knocking on Heaven's Door? That's not him singing, but that is him singing. But other than that, I'm used to his high nasally type singing though. But he has had some good songs out there.
I got an idea why he sold it. One reason, definitely for the money. I mean, that's a lot of money.
I was actually thinking that he sold because he owned the rights to all of his music. It's not like he had labels that owned his music. He owned the right to all of his music. So him selling his music for $300 million, because he owned all the rights to it. But the reason I think is because he's 79 years old and he's he wants to pass on his music.
Okay, I like that one. I've also heard rumors that he's not he's not feeling well, so maybe that's another reason why, like Curtis said, he needed money. Maybe he's got medical problems and stuff.
But $300 million worth? I don't know.
He wrote
boggles
over
the mind.
He wrote over 600 songs. Not all of them got established into sung. But he had a lot of old tapes and stuff that he's done with his band that he also had the rights to, that he sold to them as well.
And I guarantee you, Universal will find a way to flip it because there's several different ways that they could make income off of what they just purchased.
Yep, they can basically find the stuff that never got released and release it, saying, okay, this is like rarities and stuff. I mean, they can make money right there alone, and there's got to be a lot of that.
Well, like the article was saying, though, he went commercial quite a bit. Like he was in a, his songs have been used in commercials quite a bit over the years. I don't know that he was anti-establishment. His music was, but I don't know that he was. But $300 million, that is unbelievable.
Well, I know a lot of people do knock him because of his singing voice and stuff like that. Even I make fun of him. I make fun of him, yeah, because it's Bob Dylan, yeah. But, hey, he is a great songwriter. Singer, okay, but songwriter, he's like one of the top three as far as I'm concerned.
Well, he's had some great hits.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of the snippet they played on the NPR article of his latest album. It didn't sound bad. It sounded like him.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, he actually did. He did a song for this on the Sopranos soundtrack. It was "Return to Me," believe it or not, and he actually did the one part in Italian. And I'm going like, "Whoa, wait a minute, what's up with this?"
I've got to hear that. Was it in his Lay Lady Lay voice or his Rolling Stone voice?
It was in his Rolling Stone voice, believe it or not.
Yikes.
Still, though, it was good.
His albums, though, back in the 70s, I thought were actually the best that he's done out of all. I mean, they were good, but a lot of his hits came out of the 70s.
What did album, MJ? Did you like it or not?
The one he just released, what was it, in 2018 or was it this year? No, it was June of this year, I do believe.
Yeah, it was this year.
I have not heard his new album yet.
Me neither.
Well, better go pick it up.
Well, where do we buy it? No, I'm kidding.
You should be sending us a copy.
Julie, you should get right on it and email him and tell him to send us some music.
Yeah, maybe we can try to get him on the show to promote it.
Absolutely.
Come on, he knows who you are, Jewel.
But no, seriously, I'm trying to get my words out and I can't.
Let them roll off of your tongue.
Still, though, 300,000 for over 600 songs is not a bad. 300 million. Ooh.
Yeah, 300,000. Yeah, you short changed him on that one.
Yeah, that's not good. Let's not let him hear about that one.
Didn't Michael Jackson do the same thing? Or was it Paul McCartney? One of them did the same thing, and then they tried buying them back.
Well,
I think it was Paul McCartney sold the Beatles things to Michael Jackson.
That's it, yes.
But you said...
Listening to the stream, it is pretty good, Johnny.
You said Stevie Nicks, she sold hers for $80 million.
I think it was $100 million, but even Stevie Nicks. Stevie Nicks was good in the 70s. I'll give her that.
Had a few good songs. I really wasn't a big fan of Stevie Nicks.
I wasn't either, although I do like the one Leather and Lace. I believe she did. Was that with Glenn Fry, I think? Or Don Henley?
Was it Don?
She did it with Don Henley.
Yeah,
I love that one too.
And the one she did with Tom Petty, Stop Dragging My Heart Around.
How many duets did Bob Dylan ever do?
Well, I do know that they said his songs have been covered 6,000 times, so that's another way Universal can make money every time somebody records it or performs it live.
Well, anytime,
something like that.
Yeah, anytime his music's played on the radio now, they get the royalties for it.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, there are a lot of big hits that were just written by him that he didn't necessarily make hits himself.
Now, I don't know how many duets he did. I do know for a fact, though, he actually did, I think, an album or two with Johnny Cash, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
So that had to be pretty good something there. I mean, if you're working with Johnny Cash himself, you're someone.
Was he one of the traveling Wilburys also?
Yes, he was. Him, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison. Help me out here, guys. Who else?
Yeah, was it George Harrison?
Yes.
There was a what was it? The Unheard Tunes of Bob Dylan. I think it was like 16 tracks. He did a couple duets there, but I've never seen those unheard. Maybe we'll actually start seeing them now that Universal has it all.
All right. Does anybody have any more cocoa?
I don't know. Let me think. Let me see. Wait a minute. I'm going to sound like Johnny for a second. Let me think. I just don't know. Golly.
Hey, what you making fun of me for, man?
Well,
You know, this isn't about that article, but Taylor Swift is going through the same thing. You know, she sold her first 6 albums, or the rights to her first 6 albums, because she was trying to promote herself and get into the business. And now she's re-recording the first 6. But she said she realizes that she's not that young anymore. And so Love Story is really different. And she's in a big battle with the person that purchased her albums.
You know, that's funny you brought that up because
she has another album coming out too. Her album. Have you guys heard about her album?
Taylor
No,
Swift
I-
or
Most of it.
No, I try not to listen to her if I can help it.
That's because she knew you were trouble when you walked in.
She's already worth over $150 million. Can you believe that?
True, but her songs all just sound the same to me. Well, except Shake It Off. That's a pretty good song.
Yeah, but her songs have been a lot of her songs have been in the top 10, so they might all sound the same to you, but she's making money off of them.
And that's what counts.
How do you like her new album, Julie?
I actually like some of the songs on it. I preferred her when she did country, but some of the new stuff is interesting.
Is her new album the one with that one word title, Julie? The one that we heard about her going to a party?
Yeah, there's one that she just did. It was about when she was younger, and it was Would You Have Invited Me?
That's it.
And I listened to the whole song, and right at the end, she dropped the F-bomb.
And the song was about her kissing another girl. What was the name of that song? It was a one-word title. It was Mandy or
I was going to say, it was a female name.
Sound like she went Katy Perry on that one.
But no, it was really a good song. I mean, yeah, we had to get the radio edit version for the station because when we first downloaded the first one, the F-bomb was at the very first part of the song, and then she dropped it again at the end, and luckily we caught that immediately before we put it in and mixed it in with the entire station music.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good if you guys had played that on the radio.
I mean, we avoid playing Drake and things like that because just the F-bombs and everything else that they do, we just can't do that.
There are a couple of songs that Drake, Find Your Love and Hotline Bling that I play that don't have anything like that in there that can be played.
And I got to admit, the one I played by Flo Rida, what is it, My House? That doesn't have...
That's
Play
funny.
that, and you could play the song Low by Flo Rida too. That one's good too.
I thought that Flow Rider was Florida Georgia Line. And I played
Not
one of
even
their
close.
songs. No. When I first started listening to it, I said, this doesn't sound like Florida Georgia Line. What happened? And I had no clue until I got to the middle and all this swearing started. This is definitely the Georgia line.
That's funny. Shoot, the one with Nelly and Florida Georgia Line was a little weird for me. I mean, it was all right. I'm not a big fan of that one.
The Taylor Parks and Florida Georgia Line song Fight, I play that sometimes.
I don't know. And I found a new a group when last time I was on the air. It's a group called Hot Country Nights, as in KNIGHTS, and they actually did a duet with Travis Tritt called "Pick Her Up" in a pickup truck. Really good country song.
You know, Travis is really coming back. He's doing a lot of songs recently.
Yes, he did. I finally heard Ghost Town, and I played that too. That's a good song.
And Tim
I
McGraw's
like
coming
that.
back as well.
It's good to see the veterans coming back.
Well, if you've noticed, to be quite honest, I mean, I know we're going way off conversation, but that's all right. This is what it's all about. But if you noticed that Tim McGraw, and like you said, a lot of those, even Garth Brooks, a lot of them are bringing back the old style country. They're bringing that old tune back. It's not the new country anymore with Luke Bryan and any of those guys. So I find that quite interesting. I told Julie just the other day, I said, it's coming in a full circle. The old country will be back again.
No. I'll know the old country's back when I start hearing steel guitars and fiddles playing. Yeah, boy.
That's what's being played. If you've heard the Tim McGraw ones, he's bringing back the steel guitar.
Ah, yes, good. The force is strong in that one. Makes me want to go out and get one.
What, a steel guitar or the Force?
A steel guitar. I used to have one when I lived back in New York. I started actually teaching myself how to play. And my dad and I had gone in together and bought it for a couple of $100. And every time I go home, I'm like, Dad, let me take the steel home. Nope, no, I might set up and play. You ain't gonna do that, man. Come on, let me take it home.
I absolutely love the steel guitar.
Better watch it, Johnny. We'll have you performing live on the show. There's been a couple of musicians that I've had on my podcast. I've had them sing live, do a little something.
Hey, I have a '61 Gretsch. I wish I could play, Curtis. My dad tried to teach me when I was 7 years old, and I didn't want to learn. Boy, I kick myself now for that.
All right.
You just get him to sing, though. That'll be good enough.
Yeah, Julie probably get me doing Elvis tune or something.
Speaking of singing, you guys, what do you guys think about that new Mariah Carey album, The Rarities?
Honestly, I haven't heard it yet. I just saw that it came out not too long ago.
I heard about it too. And one on the charts for Christmas, her Christmas song, that's amazing.
Yep, the one she released in 1997.
Every year that comes out, she hits #1. That's how popular it is.
That's another one of those Christmas songs that's not going away, right?
It's kind of popping it out there for the listeners, you know. Go pick these albums up, these Bob Dylans, these Mariah Careys and Taylor Swifts.
Yeah, and you would think that George Michael would have, that song Last Christmas would have actually hit #1, but it's never hit #1. Still hasn't today.
I've actually heard another group called Postmodern Jukebox, I believe it is. Maria, I think you've heard of them. But they actually did
Acapella group, right?
a cover version. No, it's not a cover. It's not an acapella group. It's like they did a cover version of that in a different style. I think I got that too. It's a pretty good
Oh,
version
I
of it.
think I know the group you mean. It's like a big band. I'm not sure, but I've heard of it. I might be thinking of one group and remembering another name.
Yeah, you can find them on YouTube.
Well, Laurie Piper from England did Last Christmas, and I believe it's Meghan Trainor just re-released it too.
A lot of these new Christmas songs that are just this year too. Sia, Snowman, that's a really good Christmas song. I like that one.
Megan Trainor's all about the bass, and her lips are moving.
Now, let me just ask a question here because I know last podcast, Julie, you were talking about Kelly. You called her Minogue. Now, when I typed it into YouTube to see how to pronounce it, is it Minogue or Minogue?
That's a good question. Some people say Kelly Minogue, some people say Kelly Minogue, and some people say Kelly Minogue. 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 The way you just said it. Because
Well,
it's Mingue.
Actually, it's Kylie Minogue.
yeah, Kylie Minogue, because they'll get upset with you, the program directors or your station managers, if you pronounce the artist's name wrong, because they feel that there's no excuse in that when you can just type it into YouTube, and that is how they pronounced it, Kylie Minogue.
You can also type it into Google as well.
I think she's from Australia.
So what I do is I type in how do you pronounce whatever the name is, and it'll say it several times, and you get that pronunciation down. I was wondering, is that right? How, which way? Because I wasn't sure. That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it's definitely Kylie Minogue. I remember that because and her version of Locomotion wasn't too bad.
I liked it.
I thought Tiffany's version was better.
I don't know. I always liked Grand Funk Railroads myself.
That's my favorite.
You talk about that though. Some of these songs today, as a DJ, it's really difficult when they have 7 artists that need to be mentioned for the one song.
It's like that. What I do is I mention the main artist or maybe a couple that people might know. That's what I do.
Yep, me too. Or I sit there and study for 5 minutes trying to remember all 7 names.
Or like the one that Blake Shelton does with the Pistolantes and Friends. Was it Boys Round Here? It's just like, hey, this is by Blake Shelton and the Pistolantes and Friends, like that.
Absolutely. All right, let's hit that John Lennon, because he has an anniversary coming up, or the anniversary is here, a tragic anniversary, and I'll let Julie jump into that. But before I do, I can definitely say he's definitely still a legend, because when I went to a Paul McCartney concert here in Wichita, Kansas 2 years ago, Paul McCartney mentioned him a lot and did a lot of songs that they did. So Julie, why don't you go ahead and jump into that tragic anniversary of John Lennon?
You know what amazed me most about the article? He has been dead as long as he was alive. I didn't realize that he was only 40 when he died. That's amazing. And I remember the day he died. I remember the press and them putting all the flowers and everything outside his Manhattan home where he was shot. I think people were just stunned, absolutely stunned on that day. And Paul has a saying for him now, because they made a martyr out of him, and Paul said he wasn't what people have made of him. He is not Martin Luther Lennon. Apparently in Prague they spray painted a wall, and now that is a permanent spot on the tourist thing where people go to see. And it's amazing how they've made him into this person that they say he was great and he was all about peace. And he, when he sings that song, he said, we should have no possessions, yet he was loaded. And it said, we should have peace, and he was full of controversy. It's amazing how the perception of him is, but Paul and Ringo and George said That's not who he really was.
Oh, my question is this, and sorry to jump in on you, Julie, like that. My question is, where was everybody the night they found out he had gotten killed? I remember I was in high school. I had just started ninth grade in 1980. I remember crawling into bed around 10 o'clock. My mom was watching TV, and my bedroom was right next to the living room. My mom hollered out, she goes, John Lennon's been killed. And I'm like, whoa. And all the next day in school, I mean, all they played was John Lennon music. So it was like, wow. But that's where I was. How about you, Curtis, Maria, MJ, Julie?
Well, I was 2 years old, so later in life. And I also want to say that, just because a person is singing about something, they can portray a certain persona in a song, but that might not be who they are. If you want evidence of that, check out rap and, hip hop.
Absolutely.
I noticed in the article that it said he was a wife beater with his first wife, and apparently he smacked Julian around a bit. I think that's why they had such an estranged relationship.
Well, I'll answer. I'm going to comment on that, but I'll comment on the other one first. I mean, I was in Colorado. We got done shopping for a brand new couch to go into our living room, and we're bringing it home. And the next thing you know, the announcement was made on the radio. Everybody, the whole United States had a minute of silence for him. Not one person, not one radio station was playing a song. Everybody, it was just silence for 1 minute. And I remember that. That was just amazing. I really didn't know what was going on. I was only 8 years old, maybe 7. No, I was 8, 9 years old. There we go, Julie, back to 9 years old again. And then answering what you just said about him being a wife beater and all that. He only released that article 2 days before he got shot. So here's my conspiracy theory. Yes, the guy shot him and everything, but why did he shoot him? Did he shoot him because he admitted he was a wife beater, or did the guy, I don't remember what the reasoning was that the guy did, but that's my conspiracy theory on that he got shot because he admitted that he was a wife beater.
I mean, he blew his cover, basically, and he sort of shattered this guy's illusion. Because I think Mark David Chapman was like a huge fan.
Yeah, he was. In fact, I believe I read something where James Taylor had actually had contact with Mark David Chapman, and he had said something eerily about John Lennon or something, and he was, James Taylor's like, yeah, I'm just going to avoid this guy.
I can tell you when my sister was a lot younger, she begged my parents to take her to Liverpool, and my parents could not believe that they were going to a Beatles concert. And my sister actually ran up onto the stage with a pair of scissors and cut Paul McCartney's hair. And my parents dragged her out of there before they got arrested and she got taken away. And my sister told me, she's 13 years older than me, and so she was telling me that she kept his hair forever. She still had it. I was just flabbergasted.
She could sell that for millions on eBay.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. But how do you prove it's his?
DNA.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can
I wonder how much would it be worth if you sold it on eBay or something like
not
that.
300 million.
That's a good question. I'm surprised security did not tackle her when she jumped up on stage.
Well, probably because my parents were old. They probably felt sorry for my parents.
Well, I remember seeing, I think it was a video of the Beatles. I forgot what they were playing. Where they were doing one song, and one guy came up on stage, and I think If I remember correctly, I believe it was Paul might have swung around and caught him with the bass guitar, the head of the bass guitar.
And where they were playing in Liverpool, it was a small stage. It wasn't like 4 foot up. And they were just on this very small platform and playing. But they had ropes and everything. How my sister got through that and, got to them is just incredible.
Well, if it's just ropes and they're not up on a 4 foot stage, you can imagine. I mean, yeah, they had bouncers and stuff, but if there were security probably wasn't as tight as it would be now, that's for sure. So it was probably pretty simple for her to get.
Speaking of security, did John Lennon have any kind of any security with him when he got shot?
I don't think he did.
No,
none whatsoever.
He lived in a Manhattan apartment all by himself. He didn't know how to cook. He didn't know how to wash dishes. He didn't know how to do anything, and he was just leaving his apartment that morning, and boom. And I think it was 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, wasn't it?
Where were Yoko and Sean?
No, I think it was at night, MJ, when he got shot because I believe he was coming home. I think he was coming back home to the
yes, it was at nighttime. You're right. He was
apartment,
coming back.
and Chapman came up and asked him for an autograph, and John was signing. I think he had a book, Catcher in the Rye, with him. Chapman had with him, and I think he had John sign that. And while John was signing, that's when he pulled out a gun and shot him.
Oh, gee. Going back to your, the article talking about how he was sort of made into a legend, and your question, Johnny, that's the same question that people ask about Kennedy when he was shot.
Yes, I know. That's where I took it from. I mean, you could ask that about anybody who's been, killed or anything like that when you've got the news.
Yeah, so basically, the book was more of a diversion for him to be able to shoot Lennon. He gives Lennon the book. He has the book in his hand. He has a pen in his hand. Lennon's hands are filled up. They were occupied, so it was so easy for Chapman to actually shoot him. And now Chapman is supposed to be in jail for the rest of his life, but he's up for parole this year. Do you think he's going to get it?
I think he needs to be in an asylum, maybe.
I thought he was in an asylum.
Yeah, that's what I thought, that he was absolutely disturbed.
Yeah, no, he's up to be out this year. Or he was up to be out this year. This year's over, so a chance to get out. But I guess he has not gotten out because nobody knows.
Oh, no, they're probably too worried about retaliation because I mean, the Beatles, they're still popular to this day, so you never know. Somebody might retaliate.
Absolutely.
They
have to be worried about that. Somebody going after
Paul
Chapman.
Retaliating.
Paul with the gun, you think?
Now, why were they so mean to Paul when I was trying to read up on that and get some more information, but a lot of people were upset with Paul about everything that went on.
They had a falling out at one point.
Yeah, but why was everyone mad at Paul for what happened? I mean, they might have had a falling out, but why did everyone end up being mad at Paul, though?
Well, they got to blame somebody.
Yeah, and there was friction between Paul and John, so why not?
I mean, yeah, I could picture Paul retaliating. Hey, Mark, happiness is a warm gun. Bang, bang, bang.
And every album, every Lennon album was off the shelves, sold, gone. There was nothing left when he got shot. Everyone bought everything.
Well, I got to say, I don't remember where I was when I heard, but I do remember hearing a lot of Beatles stuff, and that's when I sort of was into the Beatles for a while, and John Lennon. So I was kind of sort of caught up in it for a while myself. I was a teenager.
Okay, so
unlike you, Maria, I don't remember where I was either.
So here's a question. And since I was only 8, 9 years old, I really don't know the answer to this. But Johnny, I mean, I know you're an old man. So, Johnny, I know that you're older than I am. But So do you think John Lennon could have been as popular as in music as Paul McCartney to this day, as in putting out albums in the 80s?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I think McCartney was a better. I think he was. Well, some people say Lennon was a better singer and songwriter. I think they both were good songwriters, but I think John Lennon, to me, was known more for his songwriting. His singing was okay. I don't think he would have put out as many popular albums, but then again, it's who knows? I mean, the business is kind of funny,
I don't know. I think as many drugs as Lennon took, I really think he would have self-destructed. I don't think he would have done what Paul and George and Ringo did and, make more music. I really think he was he was getting strange before he got killed. Apparently, he was trying to find his feminine side, and it's never been confirmed whether he went with this guy or not. And then they went to a monastery, and that was like a commune, and that started to turn out weird too. So I don't know if he would have made it.
Yeah, but Paul McCartney talked about some weird stuff as well. So, I mean, I'm sure John Lennon, I mean, you never know. But, I mean, all those guys probably were doing something.
Yeah,
Now, where were the other Beatles at when he got shot? Were they all in New York as well, or were they off somewhere else?
I believe they were all off somewhere else. I mean, you got to figure because, let me see. Ringo doesn't like to give autographs or anything. He'll just be like peace and love. He tries to avoid people now. And Paul, I don't know what Paul's doing now, but in fact, I think they've been knighted by the Queen, but I don't think any of them has accepted it.
Well,
Paul
I know
he is Sir Paul McCartney, but he was into his wife Linda, and that was another reason why him and John Lennon had issues, because they didn't want Yoko Ono in there, but Paul was trying to get Linda in there, and I remember that was a big mess.
Yeah, but
Well,
Linda had talent. Yoko didn't.
well, I know what Paul did a couple of years ago. Apparently, he had somebody blind in his family, so he gave out a few tickets to Envision for some of the visually impaired and blind people to go to a concert here. I think it was 2018. I think it was. We went.
Wow, now that's pretty cool. I didn't know he had someone blind in his circle of family. Lennon was the co-founder of the Beatles. I didn't know that.
Yep, but I think it was him and Paul first, and then I think it was Pete Stanley, and then they got rid of Pete Stanley and got Ringo, and then they got George, and George was only 16, I think, when he joined the Beatles over in Germany.
Who was actually the fifth Beatle?
Billy Preston.
I think you might be right on that one.
That's what I always heard. But I just, I want to ask Curtis, was the Paul McCartney concert awesome or what?
Oh, it was very awesome. I mean, he played with a lot of energy. He played for like 3 hours. It was really awesome. I really enjoyed it.
I'm
It's
sorry.
a shame. It would be nice if we could get him to come and talk to us, especially, on the Blind Cafe radio. We could promote Paul. That would be interesting.
Yeah, we wouldn't have to dig him up either.
Oh, that was horrible.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I'm here all week. Try the veal. I'm sorry.
Well,
I meant
mean,
Pete
you
Best.
guys got
That's who the drummer
connection.
was.
You guys got connections. I mean, if you could find a way to reach out, I mean, you never know. I always say that they can't say yes if you don't ask, and let them tell you no,
Hey,
Yeah,
we
that's a
got a
good.
tweet the other day from Barry Manilow, of all
Whoa.
people. That was cool.
And
What
New
did Barry
Edition.
say?
Play more. he retweeted a song that we were playing of his, and he said, "Please play more." I thought that was great.
And I'll tell you right now, those retweets are what does it, because when he retweets, he's retweeting into his audience, who could be God knows how many followers, and they're seeing Blind Cafe Radio, and the hope is that some of them will go, what is this? Let me check this.
I've had like Travis Tritt retweet a song that I played, and next day I find I got like 5 or 6 more people that are like retweeting that they listened to it and liked it.
We had the same thing with I was doing my radio show last week, and I didn't have the Oak Ridge Boys in my Christmas show, but I had Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and a lady piped up and said, "Oh, well, I like the Oak Ridge Boys Christmas album. It's my favorite album." And so I went ahead and turned the song into a request, and got it out there on the air for her right away.
Outstanding. I like that.
So it's really cool when you get people
we aim to
come
please.
Absolutely.
I like the fact that I actually had the Mavericks retweet a song I did, because I love the Mavericks.
They're a good group.
I mean, I'd like to go see them before time ends,
All right, we're coming up to 50 after the hour. Anybody else got any closing comments on the article?
Nope. All I like I said, I was only 9 years old. I really didn't know what was going on when they did a minute of silence. I didn't even know who the Beatles were back then. My brother did, though, 6 years older than me. He has, to this day, well, I don't know what he has anymore right now, but he had every single album of theirs. Every time one came out, he had it. And I've never seen such a bigger Beatle fan than him.
I do too. I have their original box set. It was my father's, and obviously now it's mine. And I think the last time I looked, which was a long time ago, it was worth $1,000. But I think I'll hold on to it for a little longer.
There you go, sentimental value. And reading the article, they basically made John Lennon out to be like he was a demigod or something. But I've heard people talk about how he could be real snarky and sarcastic and be a real SOB at times too to people.
Isn't he the one that cracked the Beatles are now more popular than Jesus?
Yes.
And
all right, then.
boy, he caught flack for that too. Let me
You owe
tell
me
you.
a Coke.
But I think the article said something like the legend is more real, but reality is not necessarily the truth. Something like that. I mean, the way what people make of him is pretty real. I mean, that's what a legend is.
I don't know, MJ, is that true? You're a legend, aren't you?
Far from a legend. But a
Just
legend
his
is
hair.
just the a legend is only what a legend can be, and that's what people make of you. It's not who you really are for the most part, but it's how people portray you. So that's, to me, that's what a legend is. It's the rumors and what really goes on and what's talked about you.
But it kind of takes on a life of its own in a sense. I mean, obviously, it's nothing like the real John Lennon.
And that's why I said I think that's why he was shot, because he announced that he was a...
Was he this peace-loving demigod?
Well, what was he doing when he was living in Manhattan? What was his job then? Was when he was going to work each day?
Well, I think he was basically just, puttering around, writing some songs. Because I think in his apartment he had a piano. And let me see.
He owned a big boat called Imagine.
And I believe he also used to he was with Yoko Ono in the Plastic Ono band. Oh, by the way, here's a fun fact. The song by the B-52s, Rock Lobster, where they do the dolphin ee sound, they got that from Yoko Ono, believe it or not.
Did you ever hear Yoko Ono do the song Money?
Yes, and we don't want to talk about that. I put
I'll tell
that.
you what we do want to talk about. We want to talk about that we hope this podcast becomes a legend because here at Blind Cafe Radio, the Naked DJs expose ourselves to the music every day so we can stick it out there for you to listen to.
We just don't expose ourselves on Zoom.
I like
Absolutely.
that, Curtis.
And make sure that you rate and review this podcast. Until next time, we are Blind Cafe Radio, the station that rocks your world.
Go and check out Blind Cafe Radio at blindcaferadio.com and also follow us on Twitter at Blind Cafe Radio and on Facebook at Blind Cafe Radio. Make sure you visit our webpage at blindcaferadio.com where you can visit our naked DJ. And this is the Blind Cafe Kangaroo signing off.